So that's right, guys. You saw the thumbnail. Today, we're going to be comparing two saddlebags. One being the Hogworkz and the second being a stock Harley Davidson saddlebag. Guys, my name is Rick and this is the HD Vibe channel. Today's video, we are going to compare these two in terms of some of the features and the function of these. I'm also going to show you how to assemble one of these. And then lastly, this is going to be shocking. Stay tuned to the end because at the end, I'm going to give you a comparison and a breakdown of the cost of two complete Hogworkz saddlebags versus two complete Harley Davidson saddlebags. And we'll get into all that right after this. So that's right, guys. We're going to be doing a comparison between a Hogworkz saddlebag and a stock Harley Davidson saddlebag. And these are the standard length in both cases, complete setups. And what I'm going to do first is just tell you a little bit about the Hogworkz relative to the Harley Davidson saddlebag. So first of all, the Hogworkz is made from OEM grade ABS plastic, just like the Harley Davidson. Secondly, Hogworkz does color match. Well, in this case, I didn't go with color match because I'm changing it up a little bit on this Street Glide ST. I'm going with a black look. I'm really trying to change the look up a little bit of this bike to this vivid black accent color back here on the saddlebags. And there's probably something else coming up in the near future. But I really want to change that up for this to be sort of my practice, my range bike. So let's talk about the size of these bags. So they are essentially the same as the Harley Davidson, and they're 15 inches from here to here. They're about 8 inches wide, and from front to back, they're 24 inches. And again, these are the standard size bags, not the stretch. And as I assembled this was all pre-drilled, everything lined up just right. And I'll actually show you how everything lines up here in just a few minutes. So no issues from that standpoint, everything lined up. And as a matter of fact, if you want to reuse the stock hardware, if you're just going to completely replace these, I'm not. I actually use Hogworkz hardware in this, but you could remove all the hardware off of your stock bag and put it into the Hogworkz bag. So that's how interchangeable they are. And obviously, essentially, they are the same size. The other thing that I'll show you is I already have my Custom Dynamics low profile bag lights and latch lights on these. And those fit just as if they were on the stock bags that I have over here. So again, from a size perspective, they are very, very similar. So, and while we're on dimensions, I want to tell you also the thickness of the Hogworkz bag as compared to the Harley Davidson bag is nearly identical, if not. I use this device here to measure the thickness of this as well as the back of the bag. So when I measure the inside of the bags, they're about 0.65 inches. And when I measure back here, the thickness of the bag itself, on the back of this bag, on the stock bag, it's about 0.24 inches. And on the back of this, it is 0.24 inches. So the thickness of that ABS plastic in both cases is identical. So given that the thickness of the bag itself and the lid is identical, I do want to show you. So the stock bag, you see you get a little bit of bounce in there. So over here on the Hogworkz one, I get about the same flex. Closes nicely, just like the stock bag. So now what I want to do is actually show you again how you assemble these. I'm going to get that all set up and I will actually show you what's in that kit and quickly how to assemble these. Guys, this is everything you get the way it was ordered and sent to me from Hogworkz. I've got a saddlebag bottom, I've got a saddlebag top, and obviously those two need to come together. And as I said, these are all pre-drilled so that all of this hardware can go in there with no problems. This is the assembly for your hinge that goes up into the top of the lid. Here's your tether with the two metal supports. You've got all these screws and an O-ring that you need. You've got short screws, middle screws, and a long screw. You got washers. You've got self-tapping screws. You got your two latching points that go up here in the saddlebag itself. You got your two grommets that go in the holes in the back of the saddlebag. And then you've got two of these that go up underneath to sit on the saddlebag rails. And then obviously you've got a reflector, which we will not be using. We've got your latch, the one-touch latch, and then you've got the saddlebag latch cover, which actually at the end of the day, I'll actually put in the Custom Dynamics lit latch light in there. Then obviously you have instructions, and really for this, to put this all together, you really just need Phillips screwdrivers or a Phillips screw gun. I use kind of a combination of the two when I put the other one together. So the first step in the instruction is actually to begin to assemble the lid, and that is really assembling this latch and hinge component assembly that needs to go inside of this. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 holes here in the lid, and here you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 connecting points here, and you just kind of work this in and get these lined up with those holes that are in the lid, and then this will kind of all just slip right into place. And there I've got everything lined up, and you just kind of got to push down on this, get that in there. To connect this into here, we're actually going to use the self-tapping screws, which are labeled like this. And there's just 1, 2, 3, 4 that'll go in there to hold that down. And you also, I believe, do put one of these washers on those screws as well. So I've got those all lined up. I've got the 1, 2, 3, 4 screws put in there. And now I just need to get this last one that'll go in this port of the back side of this lid. We'll get that started. And then I'm using my screw gun, and I have it turned way down so that it doesn't put a lot of pressure and strip these out. Now that we've got this entire mechanism in here, we actually need to go ahead and insert the latch lever in there. So that actually will go in here and go in this orientation. But before you put that in there, there's a rubber O-ring that's in the kit that you'll slip over that and then slide that into position here. Then to screw that in the kit, you're going to use the long screw that's marked like that. There's 2 pieces. I only have one left. And then you're going to use one of these small washers that are, there's plenty of those in the kit as well. So that just comes in back through here and screws and holds that lever in place. And you get that on there, it should look like that. And in this case, as you can see, it's not moving. So what that means is this is actually in the lock position, so we need to unlock that. And then I'll test this to make sure everything is functioning through here. All right, so now that we've got the lever on there, we're actually ready to go ahead and put the actual hinge cover on there. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to do that with 3 of these short screws noted like this. Then we'll also use some of the supplied washers, and basically it's going to slip over the lock, and then we will be bolting from the inside coming through here with these screws and those washers that will go into these 1, 2, 3 parts here. So it will look something like this when we get it lined up. There you are. We've got perfect alignment with the lock on that latch. And again, I probably will be taking this off after I get this all done for you to drill a hole and actually put the Custom Dynamics light into that. All right, so now that I've got that latch cover secured, now we're actually ready to put the waterproof gasket in here. And that gasket just goes in this little trough that runs around the top of the saddlebag lid. I started here. I went ahead and got that stuck in there. I began to peel this backing off, and you just kind of stuff it in here as you're going, and then peel this back and just make sure you stuff it down in there, press it into place. And especially as you're going around these corners, make sure you get it nice and tight going into that corner. And just keep working your way around so you get all the way around here. That'll actually be too long, so when you get to here, just cut it to length and then press it into place. And after you've got that in there, just go around and make sure it's all pressed into place nicely, that it's all stuck into that little ridge or trough that kind of goes around the back of the top of the lid, and should be in good shape. Now that we've got the lid pretty much assembled, we need to start assembling the bottom of the bag. So the first thing we need to do is actually attach these latches that will go one up here and one back here. And that's going to be attached with these short screws that are denoted like this. You're going to use 4 in each of these, and you're also going to use the washer. And those will actually screw in from the outside going in. So that's what that looks like. Once you get that in there, then we'll go ahead and move back to this back one. We'll get that one put in there. So I've got both of those latches in there. Again, just tighten those up, just to the point you don't want to over tighten so you don't crack that. So now we're actually ready to begin to attach the lid to the bottom. Get this lined up, you're going to hold this in here. And then the instructions actually say use a small screw, but if you're at this point you have no more small screws left, and actually the small screw wouldn't fit, you actually need to use the medium screws that are going to come through here, and you're going to put an actual, you'll actually put the washer on those medium screws and then drill or screw those in from here, and that will actually hold this latch into the bottom of the bag. One in there. Got that second screw in there. I'm going to go ahead and tighten this up. So now that we've got the hinge attached to the bottom of the bag, so attaching the lid and the bottom together, we actually need to put our tether on. So the way that goes on, there's 2 more holes in here. You'll see you're going to use the medium screws. You should have, at this point, only have 2 of those left. So they're going to go through here, and then up here you're going to use your self-tapping screws and put the top of this tether into here. Now we've got the tether able to hold that and keep that hinge from springing on that lid coming off the bottom. So the last couple of things we need to do is actually put these grommets through here and here. And there you can see there's a thicker side and a thinner side. So you want to work the thinner side in through here, thicker side going toward the outside. So we'll get those through. And then the last thing you need to do is actually put these bumpers down here in the bottom. Well, what I've found is those holes are probably a little tight, and they may have a little bit of the mold still in there. Start with like a 15/64 to kind of open that up, and then see how that does. And if it's still difficult, you got a thin part here and a thick part here. If it's still not coming through with that 15/64, you can go up to the neck size, but just make sure to not make those holes too big. But you also don't want to make it too difficult to pull this through, because you'll end up pulling these nubs off, and then these things will never come through. All right, guys, so that is the installation process on how to assemble one of these aftermarket Hogworkz saddlebags. And I would say if you're assembling both of these in the same day or the same night, give yourself probably an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours from the time you get your tools out to get it all sort of put together and buttoned up and put on your bike. All right, guys, so now we've come to the part of the video where I'm actually going to give you a price comparison between these Hogworkz bags and the Harley Davidson stock bag, should you ever have to replace the entire system, including all of the hardware. So hold on to your chair. I'm going to give you the breakdown of the Harley Davidson cost. And again, this is for 2 bags. It would be nearly $2,900, and that is color match painted. And I'm estimating, because Harley Davidson doesn't give you a painted price, they only give you an unpainted price. So now, by contrast, we'll talk about unpainted from Hogworkz. So if you wanted to do something custom, you could do that. We'll talk about vivid black, and then we'll talk about every other color that's guaranteed color match. So unpainted, you would get the 2 bags, the 2 lids, and if you get all the hardware and you got just the black or the chrome hardware for the latches, that would come in at $860. So now let's talk about vivid black. So if you have a vivid black bag, or a vivid black bike, or you want vivid black bags on your bike like I have now on the ST, this is only about $20 more. That's $880 for as it's set up, just like I have it here with the black latches, the black lever, etc. Now let's talk about if I wanted to go, say I wanted white sand pearl to replace the originals because something happened to them, and maybe that's your case. In your situation, that would be $1,180. So what does that mean? That is actually also color match latches. And you can also get a color match lever if you like, and I think that's probably maybe adds another $60 or $80 to that, not much. Again, versus $2,900 from Harley Davidson. And as we looked at the beginning of this video, the specs, the thickness, the size, the configuration, the hardware, everything is almost identical to the Harley Davidson bag. I think for the long haul, they'll hold up just as well as the Harley Davidson, as long as you don't overload them, which an overloaded Harley Davidson wouldn't hold up as well. So, you know, from my perspective, if you either break a bag, get some bad scratches, one falls off, which those happen on the old latches. Again, this is a 2014 to 2023 standard bag. With this configuration would be $880 versus almost $2,900 from Harley Davidson. I think you cannot go wrong. Even if these didn't last a lifetime, you could replace them again and still be saving money as compared to the Harley Davidson version. So guys, I hope you got some value out of this comparison and how to install and assemble a Harley Davidson or even a Hogworkz bag. I want to thank Hogworkz for sending this out so that I could show you guys this in terms of the comparison of the specs. Also show you how to assemble these so that you don't have to worry about looking through the instructions. You can follow my step-by-step instructions. And ultimately, this comparison in price is just unbelievable how much you can save by going with these Hogworkz aftermarket saddlebags that are just as good, if not better, than the Harley Davidson, certainly better from a cost perspective. So guys, if you got some value out of this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also consider sharing this with your friends so that like-minded individuals can find out about saddlebag options for their bike should they happen to need a saddlebag or want to change out the color or do something custom. This is a great option. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit that button right down here. That really helps out the channel, and I'd really appreciate it. When you do subscribe for the first time, leave a comment down below saying I subscribe so I can personally reach out and thank you for supporting the channel. Also, don't forget to hit the bell icon and select all so you do get notified every time I do put out new content. I have over 250 videos on tips, tricks, rides, reviews, installs on these Harley Davidson touring motorcycles, as well as motorcycle skills. So you're going to learn something about a product. You may learn how to install a product. You may save some money, save some shop labor by doing it yourself, save some money by using an aftermarket part that's just as good as a Harley Davidson part, like these Hogworkz saddlebags. So lots of opportunities, and you may learn a motorcycle skill that will leave you more confident in riding your bike. And all of this is for free. I just ask that you subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment, let me know what you think about this video or any of the other videos you may watch. And guys, with that, I want to leave you with this thought. Life is short, get out and ride the bike. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye now.